The story of the Cree people of Ouje-Bougoumou dates back 5,000 years. Settling in a region near James Bay, Northern Quebec, they lived peaceably in the land until their way of life was threatened in the mid-1940s by mining and forestry interests. Coerced to leave their villages, the band was scattered throughout the region, with most living in deplorable conditions.
You know, we saw other Cree communities develop. There was housing, water and sewer, all the modern necessities. And our people were still living in tar paper shacks with no running water, no heating, no electricity. Kids were going to school from these conditions, so it was compared to third world conditions, really.
With the signing of the Northern Quebec James Bay Treaty in 1975, the people of Ouje-Bougoumou thought their circumstances would change, but that hope quickly faded.
I realized that the Ouje-Bougoumou people were not recognized as a distinct community in that agreement.
Determined to keep pressing their cause, the band engaged an anthropologist to prove conclusively that they were distinct from other Cree bands. With the research completed, they campaigned both levels of government without results. Finally, the Grand Council got a meeting with the Quebec Premier at the time, René Lévesque.
And we explained our story to him, and I think he felt a little sympathetic about our story. And so he sent me a letter, said, look, we're ready to give you 1 square kilometer, build your community.
The elders of Ouje-Bougoumou decided to accept the Quebec government's offer and chose a site adjacent to Lake Opimiska. The band chose well-known Aboriginal Canadian architect Douglas Cardinal to design the village. Working closely with Cardinal in the urban planning stage was young Reggie Neeposh.
I was asked to take care of the organization, and it was quite a challenge, and a lot of my elders believed in me, and that kind of encouraged me.
In 1995, the United Nations recognized Ouje-Bougoumou with 3 distinguished awards for the community's commitment to sustainability.
We had never anticipated, that we would win an award. We did these things because of what we believed in, and we were looking for alternative ways of just taking control of our community. I think the story about the people themselves, coming from very poor conditions to now empowering themselves through this community development was also quite a story. We had a very simple vision, and now it's to build a home, and for our children, and that was the vision of the elders. And as you bring people together, they find new ways to become innovative, and that's what really makes it a community effort.
Many of those who remember the town's humble beginnings are quick to credit their creator for its very existence.
I think without God, we wouldn't be here. They prayed for a community, and they believed. They said, yes, God has answered our prayers. Now we have to act. We have to, walk by faith.
Everybody was involved. I think that made the difference. We were all involved, young and old. And we believed in God. I mean, we pretty much 70-80% of our community was serving the Lord, when I grew up.
All right, Peter. Good morning. All right, Isaac. Good morning. Good morning. Daniel. Good morning. Good morning, Reggie.
Although Reggie has deep faith now, it wasn't always the case. As a young boy, like most Aboriginal children his age, he was sent away to a residential school. And like many, he did not fare well.
Survivors like myself in a residential school know what you've gone through in terms of abuse, like sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse. That's basically a lot of what we went through. And when I say I'm a survivor, I have scars that I carry, I had a lot of anger because of what happened. It took me a while to talk about it. I'm on my healing journey right now. I can say it'll take a while, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Reggie remembers the day he finally left the school.
Well, I told my grandfather every year, I don't want to go back there. This is what's happening to us. This is what's happening to me. And then finally he said, I believe you. I still remember to this day going in the bush and knowing the fact that I would enjoy my culture. And it was also at that age I got saved at the age of 14. I got to accept the Christian faith.
That same year, Reggie had to deal with the tragic death of his mother, who was killed in an automobile accident.
That kind of devastated me when I was at the age of 14. And this is where I questioned God. You know, I said, why? And, you know, and I went drinking. I went back to drinking.
Reggie soon got involved in a gang, becoming their leader. He drifted through his teen years until one day he came to a realization.
I didn't like the lifestyle I was living. And I was living with my girlfriend, and things didn't work out, you know, and I was afraid of losing her, and I got serious, you know, and I rededicated my life at the age of 23, January 7, 1984. Still remember to this day.
In 2011, Reggie was elected as chief of Ouje-Bougoumou. One of his greatest challenges is dealing with the issues with which the youth are struggling.
I think the biggest challenge for us is the social, is the healing of our people.